And now it's time for another episode of Buy It or Leave It, the show where two poor saps try to tell you how to spend your money on video games. Here's your hosts, Roger and Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of Buy It or Leave It, the show where two guys tell you about all the awesome video games that are coming out this month and what you should spend your money on, because if anybody's going to tell you how to spend your money on video games, it's two people that you don't even know.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? I am Mike. With me is Roger. How you doing, Roger?
Hey, thanks everybody. I'm doing well, Mike.
All right.
How are you today?
Doing all right. It's been a long day, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Excited to talk about all these things, all these games that are going to be hurting my wallet this month.
Yeah. So, we started this podcast a while back, and we wanted to be a bi-weekly podcast. Well, actually, I think we first started as a weekly podcast.
Yep.
And we talked about being a bi-weekly podcast.
Yep.
Mike and I, we both have our own shows. Mike is actually on the Gamerheads podcast as well as a co-host, so he actually has a lot of shows. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so we while we try to make it a weekly and bi-weekly, it's going to be a monthly show, so we'll go through the games for every month, and we talk about whether or not we buy it or leave it, and we'll release this show the second Friday of every month for your listening pleasure.
Yep. So give us any feedback if you want. Just let us know. If you like it on the second Friday of every month, if you want it right at the beginning of the month, if you want us to talk about things other than games that are coming out, indie games, digital games, I don't know, good finds on eBay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a work in progress, so we would love your feedback.
Yes. So what we're going over is we're going to talk about all the wonderful games that are coming out for the month of January. 2019. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we go on a week by week basis?
Okay, that sounds good.
And then we'll talk about each week.
All right.
All right. So for the first week, we're already past this. So Fitness Boxing came out for the Switch on January 4th.
Were you the one that was playing the demo of this game?
I did play the demo.
Yeah. And what was your thoughts on that again?
It wasn't bad, but it was very annoying. The voiceover was almost too encouraging.
Can that be a possibility?
It was almost just like, I'm like, okay, I understand. I'm doing a good job. You don't have to tell me every time I, fake punch at the television that I'm doing good. So I ended up muting her, and that made it much better.
Okay. This is a $60 game, though, isn't it?
50, yeah, it's a $50 game.
$50 game?
Yeah, not worth $50.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna leave this game. I don't really know who this is geared to, even. I mean, is this geared towards, I don't know. Who is this geared towards? I mean, it sounds like it's a rhythm game, right?
Yeah, it's a rhythm game, and it's got a lot of popular songs on it. I think it's geared towards the Wii Fit people.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was Wii Fit people left.
That's my question. Are there still Wii Fit people that are buying the Switch? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. If you're a Wii Fit person, please let us know.
If you categorize yourself as a Wii Fit person,
yeah,
please reach out to us.
Some people are Beatles, some people are Elvis. I'm a Wii Fit person.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm saying leave this one.
You know what? Having played it, I'm gonna say leave it unless it goes to like $20 or $30.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our first week. So for the week that ends on the 11th, well, that's Friday. That's tomorrow. So we'll go through the 15th.
Okay.
Up until the 15th, we have Mario and Luigi: Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey on the 3DS. We have New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch. We have Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition for the PC, the Switch, PS4, and the Xbox One. We have Onimusha Warlords for the PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The Walking Dead: The Final Season, Episode 3 Broken Toys for the PC, the Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox One. And we have Vane on the PS4.
Well, let's start from the top there. So Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. Have you played the Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story? That was a DS game, right?
It was, yeah. No, I
I
have
mean,
not.
was it a Game Boy Advance game? Game Boy
Might have been
Advance game.
I'm not sure. Might have been. I can't tell you.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
I'm
don't
not sure which one
remember
it
either.
was. So I've been on a Mario RPG kick.
Mm.
Over the weekend at GameStop's buy two get one free deal, I picked up Paper Mario Sticker Star and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga,
Oh, nice.
plus Bowser's Minions. So I might consider this because since I never played it, and I always did enjoy the Mario and Luigi games, because those, it's they're decent RPGs.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like them too. I just, how much is this game selling for? Do you know?
It's your usual 3DS price, 40.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I have a hard time. I granted, I know there's like this Bowser Jr.'s Journey, and I don't know how much new content that includes, but it's hard for me to spend $40 on this game where I know I can get it used for a lot cheaper. And
Mhm.
I want to say it's a Game Boy Advance game, but I'm not 100% sure. But in any case, I know it's an older game. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was a DS game. But in any case, I just feel I have a hard time spending $40 on a game that's come out. Jeez, this game's got to be over 10 years old, right? Or close to
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
at least
So
close to it. So you're leaving it?
I'm leaving it.
Okay. I'm you know what? At this point, I'm gonna leave it too, and it kind of pains me to say it. I might just end up buying it on a whim, but it kind of pains me to say it. But with the three, I just I think that if I do pick it up, I'm not gonna have time to play it
Yeah.
with all these other games. So.
Yeah.
So speaking of games that came out years ago, next on the list is New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
Yeah, so help me understand this. So is this so I know they had the new Super Mario Brothers Wii and then is that the same game that they came out on the Wii U? I mean, is it was an upgraded game on the Wii U and now this is another upgraded game? Am I
The
understanding this correctly or no?
so the Wii U version was a totally different game than New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Okay.
I mean, it used essentially the same character models and
Okay.
like a lot of the same music, but all new levels.
Okay.
So
But it is roughly the same game as the Wii U version, right?
it is exactly the same game as
Oh,
the
okay.
Wii U version.
Well, I don't know. They
With
throw deluxe at the end. I don't know what that means.
I think they're adding Peach to the mix, but it's not technically Peach.
Hmm?
It's Toadette, and if you get a mushroom, she turns into a Peach for some reason.
That's weird.
I don't know why they couldn't have just included her from the onset and just
Hmm.
left it at that, but because she has all the same powers or abilities as Peach and Mario too. With the floating and everything.
Oh, neat. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah,
But well, how much is this game selling for?
at full price, $60.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
am definitely leaving this. I mean,
I'm leaving this until it goes to 30.
yeah,
I'll pick it up at 30, but I will not. One thing you're going to know about us on this show really quickly is that we are cheap
yeah,
bastards.
we are, we are cheap. We are, yeah, we are.
So yeah. So no, I'm leaving that as well.
Yeah. Speaking of another game that came out a while back.
Yeah. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition.
Yeah. I mean, what is this with these remakes and they'll throw in like the definitive
Yeah.
edition? You know what I mean? Like it's
A
weird. to
certain
me.
edition.
Yeah, exactly. I have not played the original.
Nor have I.
I do like RPGs though,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna have to leave this one.
Yeah.
Is this also $50 or $40, or do we know what the price is for this one?
I could look it up. It'll only take me a minute.
It's coming out on Switch too. That's interesting.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
originally, was this a PS? This is a PlayStation game originally, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's looks like it's 50.
50.
Yeah.
I still am gonna have to leave it. That's.
Yeah, I'm trying. So one of, if you're listening to Gamerheads podcast, we did our 2019 New Year's resolutions. one of the things is I wanted to try more new genres, and RPGs are one genre that I haven't gotten into a whole lot. But I have a feeling I'm going to need to ease myself in a little better. I can't jump right into a game like this.
Yeah, I think you would have a hard. I mean, not that I don't know if you would have a hard time, but I think that it's just different than like the what's the one that we really Octopath Traveler. So
Hmm. Oh yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna skip this one too.
yeah, absolutely. So,
Well, we're saving a
uh,
lot of money so far.
yeah. And wow, Onimusha Warlords.
Is this
Uh,
another remake
that's
too?
another remake. That was a
Oh my
PlayStation
gosh.
2 and Xbox game. So yeah.
This is also coming on Switch though. That's kind of neat. But
Hmm.
again, so is this similar to? So I'm not familiar with this game. Is this similar to like Dynasty Warriors, where you
Yeah, I
like?
think it's like a
Okay.
hack and slash.
Okay. I still have Hyrule Warriors that I haven't beat, so I'm gonna say no to this game. Even though I do love those types of games, I'm gonna have to say no. How much is this
Mhm.
game? Is this also $50?
Onimusha Warlords is 20 actually.
Oh,
So that's
well,
realistic. And
actually,
it's Capcom. So that's a surprise. Capcom is charging a lower
what
price for a
is
new
there?
game.
Is there? Yeah,
Microtransactions.
exactly.
Yeah.
I actually for $20, I might consider picking this up. Then for the Switch, that would be really fun to play on the Switch. So,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna pick this one up.
All right. I'm still going to hold on to my hard-earned fake money. So yeah. So next is a game called Vane
Oh, The
coming out for
Walking
the
Dead.
PS4.
You forgot The Walking
Oh,
Dead.
Walking Dead, sorry. Walking Dead, final season, episode 3, Broken Toys. Um, Man, it kills me to say this. This is okay. Just so you know, the show is called Buy It or Leave It, not Leave It or Leave It. Um, I'm leaving a lot this week because uh, so I still need to finish so I played the first two. Was it the first two? Yeah, the first two seasons of Walking Dead. So I mean, I really like Clementine's story, and I really need to get back into it. But I'm gonna hold off on this one on this next episode.
Yeah, I haven't played any of them, so I am gonna say I'm holding off too because I haven't played them.
Oh, yeah, but I got to tell you, you really should play. I mean, if you like, well, you're not much of a horror person, but I mean, it's a really good game.
I'm not, but
Yeah,
yeah, I enjoy The Walking Dead, and I heard good things about this. I'm glad that they're finishing up the final season. I will say
yeah,
that. So, but I'm gonna have to say that we're gonna have to leave it at this point.
yep. All right, and finally on the 15th we have Vane on the PS4. Let me give a brief description because it doesn't sound uh, very like we know a lot about it. So, set in
Yeah.
an epic story of transformation, where shifting between the perspectives of a bird and a child will be key to unravel the land's mysteries and create a path forward through the barren landscape. As you do so, the remnants of the world react to your passage, evolving and building into something altogether different.
Hmm.
It sounds like interesting, like they're trying something new with it.
Yeah. How much is this game?
This one, I think. Let's see. I did not have that price on here. Oh, 25.
25. That's not bad actually. I think
Hmm.
I might get that game.
Yeah, it looks like I was watching a video on it, and it looks very stylish.
Hmm.
Almost kind of reminds me of Journey
Interesting.
in terms of
Uh,
the landscapes and everything.
yeah, I liked Journey a lot,
Hmm.
so I would give this for $25. That's like the point of I'm not afraid to spend $25 on a game that I might not know a lot about. I know it's weird. It's like that's like anything over that. It's like oh I don't know, but $25 I feel like I'd be willing to try something new with for $25.
Hmm. So, all right, so that's up until the 15th. So, the next week up until the 24th, there we have on the 17th we have Yakuza 4 for the PS4, and we have Yeek. I'm going to spell that Yiik, Yeek, a postmodern RPG for PC, Mac, Switch, PS4, and Wii U.
Wait, what? Wii U?
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We have on the 18th we have Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Also on the 18th, Travis Strikes Again: No More Heroes for the Switch. And on the 24th, Life is Strange 2 Episode 2 Rules on the PS4, PC, and Xbox One.
Okay, well, let's start with the Yakuza 4. Have you played any of the Yakuza games?
I have not, but I've heard that they are incredible games.
Yeah, I have a lot of them. I have not played any of them. I have them because one, I bought Yakuza 0 when it was on sale, and then the other ones I got as part of being a PlayStation Plus member.
Okay.
So I think I might have like a lot of them on PS3, but not on the PS4. Although I think that last month PS4 got Yakuza Kiwami, I think. One of the Kiwami ones, which is like I think the remakes of the PS3 versions. So I want, because Christian loves the Yakuza 0. But I don't know. I have to wait because I haven't played any other ones. So I'm going to say hold off on this one.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as well. Just because I haven't played the other ones, and I'll be completely lost.
Yeah.
Kind of like Blue says with Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I just realized that I biffed the name on the next game. It's not Yeek, it's Y2K.
Oh, are you sure? Is it really? I thought it was two eyes. Like. I don't know. I thought it was two eyes.
It looked like two eyes before. Man. All right. Well, either or. Now this one looks interesting to me. I'm gonna buy this one.
How much is this game?
Good question. Let's see. You can actually get it right now on Steam. Actually, I'm sorry. No, it'll be available. I'm sorry, on the 17th on Steam. Does not say the price. Looks like I probably wouldn't pay more than 20 for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, it looks like an interesting game. I've only seen a couple things about it. I think it's interesting. It's coming out on PC, Mac, Switch, PS4, the Wii U, but not Xbox. That is kind of surprising. But the Wii U. Oh, did you find a price?
$20.
$20. There you go, Mike.
There we go.
So, I'm gonna say that again. That's that's in that price point for what I think is a sweet spot. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna buy that game.
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up too. And like I said, I want to get into more RPGs. And this kind of reminds me, the graphic style and everything, kind of reminds me of an awesome RPG that I played a long time ago.
Oh, boy.
What's up?
Oh, no.
No. This game was awesome.
It
was called Costume Quest.
Oh, yeah. Costume Quest is good. Yeah. Sorry. Whenever you say I played a game a long time ago, I think of that one game that you really love and I
love Out of This World.
Every time you think of I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be Out of This World.
Out of This World is a great game. You should really get back into it.
I got other things I have to do, Mike.
Yeah.
Plus, I watched you beat it, so I don't need to play that game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Darn it, shot myself in the foot.
So we're both buying this Eek or Y2K, a postmodern RPG. So
yep.
Interesting.
Next on the list, Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown. If I'm playing an airplane game, it's going to be a space ship game. I'm gonna leave this one.
Is this so? There was an Ace Combat game that was on the PS3, and I want to say it was a free game. This is not a free game because that one had microtransactions. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, it's a full price game, $60.
Oh,
yep.
I'm gonna have to say no too. I will say that Ace Combat looked really cool. The one that was on PS3, and I can imagine that it would be really good on the PS4 and Xbox One, but not for $60. I'm gonna have to wait.
Yeah, and if we're going back to talking about old games again, I think Top Gun ruined me for all types of airplane games or the jet fighter games.
Yeah.
I could never connect to that stupid fuel hose thing.
Yeah, that was really interesting side story. I actually saw planes because where I grew up there was a air base kind of near my house. I actually saw planes refueling, doing maneuvers, refueling in flight. That was really cool to see
Oh,
that.
nice.
I could never pull that off in the game either. So
Yeah.
nor could I land on the.
Oh no, I couldn't land either.
Gosh, that was so hard.
Next up, also on the 18th, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes for the Switch. I am a definite buy it for this game.
So this is not a remake. This is a brand new in a series,
This is a
right?
brand new game, brand new story in the No More Heroes franchise. That they're not calling it No More Heroes 3. It's more of like a side story, but it's still, includes Travis Touchdown in it. And I don't know if you played the first No More Heroes. I played the first one. I didn't play the second one, but I played the first one, and I loved the first one. It was so just so like trippy and so just eclectic and just weird, and it just, I don't know, it was a lot of fun.
I will say that was a time that it felt like that game came out, and Mad World. You remember that game?
Yeah.
That game came out, and also Steel. I think that's what the game is called. That was a Ubisoft game. Like all those games kind of came out at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this is like, it's weird because I look back at the Wii and I think of like wholesome games, but those games were not wholesome games at all.
Oh God, no. Yeah, especially No More Heroes. Whew. Some of the content in that.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I remember playing that. I'm like, really? This is on a Nintendo system? So
yeah.
I know the Switch is more like, has more like, I don't want to say adult games, but has more like
mature
games.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't surprise me it comes to the Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so I'm definitely picking this up. What are you thinking?
How much is it for?
40.
40? Then I'm gonna get it too. Yeah. I really like the first one as well. I think I might have the second one as well, but the first one was really, it's just such a unique game. It was so cool and just different, like you said, and just, I don't know, like I really liked it. So yeah, and Suda51, I'm assuming he has a hand in this, right? So so yeah, I'm gonna have to get it too.
Yeah. And then Life is Strange 2 Episode 2 rules. I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm gonna leave it. I never got into the Life is Strange series.
Oh, you should. Really? No, it's good.
I hear it's just like too hippie.
What?
And I don't mean hippie like 1970s
okay.
hippies. I mean hippie like hipster.
Oh, well, I don't know. There's some pretty like heavy things in that game. Like when I played I played the first one. I haven't played the second one, and I haven't finished the first one. I should clarify that. But the first one, like, there's a lot of things. Like, I was thinking to myself, man, if I was this teenager, I would have to go get some like serious like therapy, because this kid goes through a lot of stuff. So it's weird, but it's interesting. I mean, it was an interesting concept. I haven't played the second one at all, so I think it's a prequel to the first one, I think.
Okay.
I thought it was Before the Storm, or maybe that was a separate game altogether. But I haven't played any of the episodes for Life is Strange 2, so I'm gonna have to pass on this one too. Okay. I waited until it came out as a series, because they did the episodic for the first one too. But I waited until it all came out and then got it. Actually, I got it as a PS Plus game. So.
All right. So that's this week. So and then finally we're gonna go from the 25th through the 31st. On the 25th, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake on the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Tropico 6 on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. On the 29th, there's Kingdom Hearts 3. You may have heard of it. On the PS4 and the Xbox One. And then on the 31st, we have Robotics Notes Dash and Robotics Notes Elite HD, both on the Switch and the PS4.
I don't know anything about that game.
No, I'm looking that up.
So while you look that up, then I'll start talking about Resident Evil 2. So I know a lot of people are super excited about this game. I'm gonna have to wait because I want to know what this microtransactions, what this all entails.
I really think it's just costumes.
I hope that's the case. It's weird that they would include that, but I hope that is just the case. But I'm weird. It's funny that that's not coming to the Nintendo Switch, actually. I don't know
Resident
why.
Evil? I think it's
Yeah.
because it's too graphically intensive.
Oh, really? The second one?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it is a it is not like an HD version of Resident Evil 2. It is like they go with like Resident Evil 4 style of gameplay. So it's not the fixed cameras, tank
Oh,
controls. Like you're playing it. It is a just a brand new game built from the ground up.
interesting. Okay. Well, how much is that selling for?
60. That'll go for 60 unless you want to get
Oh.
like the special editions.
And
Then you're paying a
what
lot
does
more.
that include?
DLC and art and stuff. There's one that has, I think it has a Leon statue, and I think that's like 200.
Oh, well, in that case.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. I liked Resident Evil 2 when it first came out, but I'm gonna have to leave this.
I'm gonna buy it.
Mm.
I love Resident Evil 2. It's
Mm.
such a good game, and I love the Resident Evil franchise in general.
Mm.
It's oh yeah, oh you know what, even five, like a lot of people gave 5 a hard time, and I really loved 5. Playing
Mm.
online, I played the entire game with Brian, who does the Controller Throwers podcast with me, and we went through the entire game in co-op, and it was a ton of fun.
Hmm.
So I don't mind that Resident Evil. I mean, it bugs me a little bit that they went more actiony than horror, but
Yeah.
this brings it back to its horror roots. That's what they really wanted to go for. So I definitely want to give this a try.
Nice. What about Tropico 6?
So I know there was a Tropico game on the 360,
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken,
there
and
was, and I never played it.
it's like one of those it's a strategy game, like a top-down strategy game.
Isn't it kind of like, aren't you building an empire kind of
Pretty
thing?
much, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna leave it on
Yeah,
Tropico
me too.
6.
Me too. I'm surprised that didn't come out on Switch. I mean,
That would be a good that could be a good platform for that. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
if it sells well, like we've seen a lot with the Switch. There's a lot of games that come out for other systems, and then surprise, we get an announcement that it's going to be releasing on the Switch. So
Yeah.
it's always possible. I guess
Yeah.
they're probably keeping an eye on how Civilization 6 is looking, because
Yeah.
if that sells well, that might kind of inspire them to say, hey, maybe we should do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it too. I never played any of the Tropical series, so I'm gonna have to leave it.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Leave it. I'm gonna get a ton of hate. It's
You
only episode
are.
2.
You're
It's
gonna
only
get,
episode 2, and we're gonna get a ton of hate mail.
You're gonna get a ton of hate from one of our co-hosts. Actually.
I know. So only because I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2. Actually,
no,
let me
me
take
too.
that back. Let me take that back. I played Kingdom Hearts 1, and I made it to the Alice in Wonderland level, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Man, see, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 a long time ago, and I don't remember anything about it at all.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking it was really cool, like it was a cool concept.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything.
You know what? I think, maybe, no. I think I made it past the Alice in Wonderland level. I think I made it to the Hercules level, and then this boss just kept destroying me, and I got frustrated with it.
Yeah. Are they going to include any Marvel characters now that they own the Marvel universe?
I don't think so. I think
Oh.
they're keeping that separate.
That's too bad. Blue's gonna kill me too, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna leave it because I haven't played the first two either. I need to play those first two before I can play Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Well, actually, more than just two, isn't there? Like
Yeah.
all these others. Yeah, there's that. I need to get that collection.
All 9 games.
Yeah,
You're getting your money's worth.
you are. But I would get that before I get Kingdom Hearts 3, just because I feel like I won't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I still might not know what's going on, but
Yeah. That's what I hear. It's you really got to pay attention and take notes.
And then this robotics notes dash and notes
Yes.
elite, is that like an RPG? Is that like a JRPG? What is that?
It's one of those visual novel games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a sequel to the 2012 game Robotics Notes. So Robotics Notes Dash and Robotics Notes Elite HD. So I'm gonna pass on this one too.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm gonna play a visual novel, I'll get back into Walking Dead before I go anywhere else.
Wow, the start off to 2019, and we
Well,
just
it's January, January's
yeah,
not. But the funny thing is, like for the past like a few years, for a few years now, January was like a big release month.
yeah. Wasn't Horizon Zero Dawn in
Yeah,
January? I think so.
I think that was, yeah.
And Celeste was.
hmm So a lot of good games came out around that time. But this year, I mean, I don't know if you technically look at it. Let's see, um, Travis Strikes Again, Resident Evil
Mm-hmm.
2. Those, if I were to pick those up, though, so that'd be we what $100 right there.
Fitness boxing.
Fitness boxing, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
great. You're doing great. Fantastic. Keep it up. Oh, jeez. All right. Thank you. It's like now you're just patronizing me.
Yeah, right. Do you have any surprise buys? Do you have any surprise buys?
Surprise buys. So yeah, so the games we talked about are games that are hitting retail. So of course there's going to be a ton of digital games that release. If we went through every single game that came out for the month, then we'd be here for hours. There is a game that releases on the Nintendo Switch on January 10th called Overdriven Reloaded Special Edition,
Hmm.
and it's $7.99, and it's a shmup. It's a shoot 'em up. So it's a space shooter game. It's vertical, so you're shooting. If you're looking at your monitor, you're shooting up. Um, it could be considered a bullet hell game, but you can tweak the difficulty so that anybody can play. It's so I'm got a review that's up on the Gamerheads Podcast website, so
Yeah.
gamerheadspodcast.com. Check out my review. It's a good game, especially for that price. You're getting a lot of content. It's definitely an arcadey game, but it also has 4-player co-op, which I will say gets very, very hectic as you're playing. So that's my surprise buy is Overdriven Reloaded Special Edition on the Nintendo Switch.
Nice. My surprise buy is going to be also a game that comes on the Switch and Xbox One, I should say, and that is Hive Jump from Graphite Labs. So this game is a 4-player roguelike, so you can play up to 4 players at the same time, and you are killing uh, bugs, I guess. That's the best way I can
Oh,
describe. You're like going into a hive and you're destroying these hives, and there's aspects of dead cells. So you collect these thing called goo, which is their their monetary system, and then
okay.
when you make it so each hive that you jump into has different levels, and if you make it past each level, you get to use the goo that you collected to either upgrade your weapons that you're using. Um, so you can upgrade um, the weapons that you have on you, or you can buy new upgrades for your weapons, or you can save it, and there's base building in it. So at the end of each turn, if
Oh,
there's any hive left, they come and attack your base, and you can defend your base with either adding new traps or adding reinforcements or adding mechs. It's really cool.
oh.
So I am gonna say I'm gonna have a review up for that on Gamerheads hopefully this weekend. By the time this airs, it probably won't be up there yet, but it'll be up there this weekend. And I'm gonna say that's my special buy or surprise buy because that game is really good. So, all right, now we have a special interview with John and John from Warped Fish Games, the creator of Razed.
All right. And welcome back today. We have a very exciting segment. We actually have with us John Thompson and John Fairmont from Warped Fish Games, the creators of Razed, which is now available on PlayStation 4, Switch, PC, and Xbox One. Am I missing anything?
No, that's all of them.
Awesome. So yeah, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure.
So yeah, so we're gonna ask you a few questions about the development of Razed and just kind of your inspirations and things like that. So Roger, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I, before the interview, John and I were just talking a little bit, but I'm interested to know a little bit more about Warped Fish Games. So tell us more about yourself and Warped Fish Games, and how did you come up with the name Warped Fish?
That's a good question. I've been trying to remember how that even came about. I think something to do with small fish in a big pond. I think that was part of the fish side of things. Anyway, the warp, I cannot remember. Do you remember, John?
No, I was trying to remember this the other day. Yeah, we spent a lot of time thinking about it, as we do with most things.
Yeah.
We back and forth, and we talk all these ideas through, and we discard a load of stuff, we choose a load of stuff, and we end up with something. And then you look back and you think, how did we get here? You can't remember.
No.
But yeah, there was a lot. I think certainly in the early days, all the machines that we had that were doing, builds and we were working on, they all had, we had to give each machine a name. They all had like fish names. I think it was broadly to do with that. Like there was an aquarium and a lot of, you can tell from the game, there's a lot of puns going on. So there's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, it was something along those lines anyway. But originally, we were working at a software. Well, it was a web services development place. I can't remember what we're building now. Some kind of like entertainment platforms, this sort of thing. And I think we got to talking, and we decided that the game Worms wasn't on mobile for some reason. I mean, this was way before iPhones or anything that was really capable of it. But we thought we'd have a crack at it anyway on like an old Nokia phone. And it totally failed. We didn't even finish, as I recall. And yeah, we just carried on working from there, really. We just working on small projects. I think that was right.
It was a mix, wasn't it? It was a mix of worms and cannon fodder.
That was right.
Troops with a Z.
Troops.
We had grand ambitions for Troops.
Yeah.
It was Flashlight, wasn't it? I seem to remember.
It was. Yeah, devices that definitely couldn't handle flashlight very well, and it was never gonna work. But we had ambition.
Nice.
And yeah, since then we've just carried on making little games. Nothing we ever properly released until Razed. That's basically how we started.
Yeah, we always had this theory, sort of the 60% theory. You'll kind of start a project, do all the interesting bits, and then you've got to start polishing it off and actually delivering things, at which point it gets really boring. So you just start coming up with new ideas instead. So we jumped from project to project to project and never got finished until we eventually decided, right, we should actually do something properly.
Nice.
So
I can relate to that a lot.
Which brings us to Razed. So it's definitely it's a very unique game. We haven't seen a whole lot of this style of game. So can you tell us kind of the creative process around Razed? Like, what was the initial idea and how did it grow into this game?
Yeah. Well, the initial game was actually a competition entry for a computer games magazine around here. And it was to create a game around the theme of protesting.
What? Really?
Yeah.
We spent many a long night trying to think how we could crowbar the idea of protesting into an interesting game.
The original game, it was obviously nothing like Razed. The only thing that actually persists from the original game to Razed was, I think, the character, and he changed a little bit. But yeah, the original game was you were the little character you are in Razed, wandering around these sort of cityscapes, trying to coax like-minded people to join your cause for a protest for, well, we didn't actually say what the protest was for, and it was basically a speedrunner. I think that's what I'm pretty sure it was basically you'd class it as a speedrunner. Wandering around the city, calling these guys. Every time you shout to somebody, a like-minded person, then you would get like a little speed boost, and you'd have to sort of control this character, and he was really hard to control as well at the time. And you try and control him and get to the next person. You could shout to join your cause. You'd do that, and you'd zoom off to the next one, and so on and so on until you got to the end. And yeah, it was basically a speedrunner. We sort of, like I say, crowbarred this idea that it was a game about protesting sent it into the magazine, and somehow managed to get second place in the
Wow.
competition. And
That's awesome.
they totally saw right through. It was not a protesting game. It really was not. But they said they liked it enough, and so we got second place anyway. And so, we knew we was kind of onto something at that point. And we just decided we was going to carry on and develop that into a full game, which then spent about 4 years doing so.
It's so interesting that just what it starts off at, and that just kind of what it like grows into.
Yeah. It was totally different. Well, I mean, I think originally I was really trying to keep the protesting angle, but it got to a point where I realized that it just wasn't, a particularly fun thing to, to pivot a game around. And so that eventually got phased out for, the themes we ended up going down. But there was a lot of protests. The protesting side of things is tied to the destruction of everything. You were supposed to be protesting the demolition of your world, and it's actually still in there now I think about it. That did sort of make it into the story, but yeah, this is how we got to where we ended up.
So I have a quick question on that. So, like, the magazine that was putting on this competition, was it like a social justice magazine? Like, it's just weird to have like that as like the premise of a game.
No, it was. I don't know if you guys have it over there. Edge magazine.
Yeah, we know it. Well, we don't have it, but we know Edge. Yeah.
You know Edge. Yeah, it was in theirs. Yeah, it was just literally created as a game around the theme of protesting.
Well, so like going into the game. Oh, John, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I was just trying to think back to the other titles that were in the competition, and I think they were, very sketchy in their association to protesting as well.
Yeah. I think the one that won.
Pirates.
Yeah, there was one about pirates. The one that won was actually pretty good. It was about collecting, again, something similar to what we were doing, I think, collecting numbers. And then I think you then sat on top of a building with them people.
Yeah, it was a bit of a sort of Pikmin sort of thing, wasn't it, where you collected a group. Yeah. I can't remember why. It was odd. It wasn't really gung-ho for social justice or anything. It was just like, here is your theme, protesting, off you go. All right.
I think that probably worked to our favour. I can't imagine too many people went in for that one.
Well, it does, it helps you sort of think of new ideas, I guess. When you sit there and you think, I can make any game I want, you just sort of mind goes blank, I guess. Whereas if someone says, right, here's some really, really harsh constraints, off you go, your mind starts to come alive a bit.
Yeah. I think, funnily, Pikmin was actually one of the inspirations for the original Outcry. I remember my sketches, and I remember writing Pikmin on there specifically for, the one guy going around and collecting other guys.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So the game, actually that is something I do want to mention too. So the story behind Razed is a bit dark. So did you come up with the story first? I mean, or the game design first? It sounds like it kind of morphed into this from the competition then. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Coming up with the story was convoluted, I'd say. So yeah, we had the original demo, so if you remember collecting guys, and then at some point we got rid of the collecting guys and just turned it into you running around on your own trying to save the world. Then I think at some point one of us said that what's the point, why are you doing this, why are you running around trying to save this world? I don't think we had any sort of cutscenes or anything there originally. It was just you were just doing this thing from the start. And yeah, there didn't seem to be much motivation there for the characters to go and do that. So then thought, okay, well, we'll come up with a story. And I don't know, I think quite influenced by Sonic the Hedgehog to some degree. Well, the developers, how he goes around his machines, his little flying machine and stuff, that's certainly very Robotnik-like. We needed a reason for all these buildings that were being demolished. We needed a reason for that to happen because just try and save some time as we developed it for quite a few years at this point. We didn't want to go back, come up with a story that meant we had to go back and change everything we've done so far. So the story had to sort of sit around the gameplay and the environments.
Yeah.
And at some point, it ended up becoming like a little bit meta. I had some idea to make the story a sort of subverted telling of the process of making the game itself. So the developer is essentially us. We are the bad guy in this, and we treated the little character you're running around as the game. So at this point, it'd been like 3 years of developing this game. And like John was saying before, you got the 60% thing. We were definitely at the 60% mark at this point. We were just looking at this, building 60 odd levels, and just thinking, we've got so many other good ideas for games. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. But this Razed was sort of sat there, stopping us from going to do that. It's not a frustration thing, but we had to finish it. But we had to finish it, and we had all these other ideas. And so at some point, some mad spark made me think, the developer, that's us. This little guy's there stopping him from doing all these other things that he wants to get on with, and so he wants to kill the little guy, but he can't. And I know it's super convoluted, and I didn't want that to come through in the story particularly. I didn't want it to be about game development, but it actually is kind of based off, the emotions we were going through at the time, trying to get the game finished.
That's amazing.
It all stems from that. Talking shoes, I don't know where that came from.
Well, it's funny because it almost sounds therapeutic in a way, right? That you did this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Very meta. When I picked up this game and I started playing it, and this creator comes by and says, I want to destroy you, but I feel bad about it. Well, you can cause your own death. Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, that's it. That's exactly where we were. We had these different ideas for games. We have to finish the game. We can't. We want to, stop it, go start something new, but we can't. We'd feel terrible if we did that. And it's all. The developer is definitely, a manifestation of us and how we were feeling at the time. I just thought it was kind of funny.
I love it. That's awesome. That puts so much context to it, because I felt really bad for this little raised character, the little character that you're trying to run, and like that's their life, and you got these shoes that are like don't care. They're like, yeah, just stop running and you'll die. That's okay. Like, what?
Yeah. I think originally the shoes definitely didn't talk originally, but I wanted a silent protagonist. But to get across, what was happening, get across story beats and stuff, we needed another voice in there. We couldn't just have the developer like monologuing the entire way through the game. And they had some mad inspiration at some point to make the shoes be sentient. And I think another thing that drove in that was at some point when you got your upgrades, you went to a totally different place, and there was this guy. Do you remember what his name was? John Digby. That was it. His name was Digby, and he would be the guy that would upgrade the shoes. And at some point, I realized he was like totally surplus to the story, and he was only there to explain more stuff. And thought, it'd be so much better if the shoes could explain what was going on, because they're actually involved in the main story. So Digby unfortunately got cut from the game, and the shoes took over his role.
It's funny how much stuff we sort of discussed and changed things and went backwards and forwards. And there were some things that we completely disagreed on, and there were some things that we were both all for. Like, it was quite late in the development when John came up with the idea for the way the charge mechanic works. And it took him a good few days before I eventually came round to that. I was first heard it, like, no, I don't like this at all. I don't like it. No, I'm not keen on this. I think that's too big a change. Eventually, he won me over, and I think it was a brilliant idea. Funnily enough, the talking shoes, straight away, love it. It's in. I don't know why. It just seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, the charge mechanic was because I was playing Breath of the Wild at the time.
Oh.
And I really liked the stamina system on that. I thought it was really clever. And we was having a few problems. We'd added the jump. Well, we didn't have jump in the game originally. We had like none of that stuff. And we come up with these ideas. We thought, we need a jump of some sort. It's a platformer. But before that, you'd get over large gaps by hitting these boost pads and this sort of thing. But when we put jump in, that broke a lot of the levels that we'd already built. So it was like, all right, we need to not have jump for a few levels at the very least. So how are we going to do that? And then I was playing Zelda. I thought, this may work, and it did. It turned out right in the end.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, though, you did raise a person in the game. You got rid of the character that would upgrade your.
We totally destroyed Digby.
So with the game with Razed, so you're essentially you need to make sure that your character stays in motion, otherwise he will be raised. So some of the levels, it has that increasing difficulty, that bell curve. How do you balance the difficulty of the races, like making sure that some weren't too easy but not too hard, so that people would just rage quit?
I know, judging by some of the reviews, I'm not sure we did.
We did a lot of testing though, didn't we?
Yeah, play testing.
Built the levels, tried them out on friends, saw how they got on with it, watched where the rage really happened, where they got stuck, and then we'd sort of try and soften them or reorder them or so on. So yeah, like John said, I'm not sure we quite got it spot on, but we definitely made a lot of progress. Yeah, playtesting was by far and away one of the best things we did.
Mm-hmm. We went to a show. And we took just the first level and a couple of levels into the second world, and the amount of changes we made, it was a 2-day show, and the evening after the first day, the amount of changes that were made were insane. Watching so many people come up and sit down and play the game and crash at all these various different places and lose their cool, and made so many changes in one night, and they're all for the better. So the more people you get to play these things, it's helped so much.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that I found was that when I got stuck, I would walk away, and then I come back, and then for whatever reason, I was able to figure it out. But I just, I would have to step away and just say, okay, I'm going to come back to this in a little bit. And I don't know. That's in my review. I think I even said that's a good technique, is to walk away, come back, and take on the challenge again.
It's funny how that works with a lot of games. I think you said as well in your podcast, that it works for you for a lot of games, and I find that as well, especially things like where you're repeating the same thing a lot. So I find things like Street Fighter and these kinds of games as well. Find that you must get a certain muscle memory or something, and it gets to a point where you're overthinking it and you get nowhere. And when you sort of stop thinking about it and just sort of play again from fresh, or when someone starts talking to you or something, you can't concentrate on it. It's funny how that kind of just sort of resets everything, and you can be so much better.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So aside from with the levels, getting the feedback and making changes, were there any other really challenging aspects of creating Razed?
Challenging aspects. So one thing I think we did was massively underestimate how long it was going to finish. The actual challenge, not actually the creating of the game. It was more the amount of time and effort it took to get the game across the finish line. The last 2 months were fairly brutal for me, at least. So it was locking yourself away from the world and just going out the game every night. Because obviously we have full-time jobs as well. So we come home, lock the door, work until I don't know what time in the morning, get up, go to work, and back again. And the last 2 months they were brutal.
Yeah, John had the pleasure of kind of doing most of the level work. Which, I personally find that really difficult. And I think John's a lot better at it than I am, but it's not easy for anybody to sort of sit and plan out a level and think, how's this going to work? What's going to be fun? What's the difficulty like? And really get that right. Very tricky. And mine was more to do with the development for the different platforms. Getting it working properly on the different platforms. So I had a fairly hellish bit towards the end as well. But the levels, I would say, certainly was a huge challenge to have that much content that is interesting and try and balance it right and so on. Yeah, that's a real hard one.
Yeah, and especially if you have a deadline where you're trying to meet, like,
Yeah.
and have all that pressure on you. Like that,
Well,
that's got to be very difficult.
The thing is, having a deadline was actually really useful. The few projects we did before Raise, where we've definitely seen right the way through to the end, were always things for like competition entries, and they have a hard deadline. I think anyone who's any indie developer who is starting out, I recommend find a competition or something with a hard deadline, because otherwise you'll just keep on spinning wheels. And you'll get to a point where you think, oh, I've got a much better idea for this. Like we've said before, I'll go and do that. But having a hard deadline, it just forces you, it really focuses you. And it got the game finished. Without that deadline, I'm sure the game would never got finished, honestly. Yeah. But we'd have started about another 5 games by now. I'm joking. I've got like a board just full of ideas. And every time, like, when you're in the last 60% of a game, you're thinking, all right, could you do this? We'll do this game next. We'll do this next game next. So I end up writing everything down on a note, sticking it on a board. So we'll come back to that later. It's the only way I could get through it.
Yeah. Do you find because I sometimes this happens with me. So I do a lot of like creative writing, and I write comic books and graphic novels. Do you find yourself though that when you're writing or when you're creating a game and you come up with an idea and you're like, that won't fit into this game, but I can use this mechanic in another game. Do you find that happens a lot to you both?
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
It's a creative process. yeah. So they just go on notes, and I just stick them on a board somewhere, and there are, I don't know, there must be knocking on 100 by now. There has to be. Like, I find this just a good way to create in general. If you've got an idea and you just sort of leave it hanging around in your head, you'll just focus on that idea. But I find if you write that down, stick it to the side, you sort of like make room for another idea. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just a good way to create anything. It works really well.
Yeah. Were there any, kind of related to that then, were there any races that you kept out of Raze that you wish you would have included or could have included in the game?
Well, the last world is split into 2. So the levels were kind of done in order. So for the last world, I think I was down to, I don't know, maybe a month or something left. And I was like, how am I gonna make 10 levels in this amount of time? And I just knew I didn't have enough time. And throughout the game, we'd come up with quite a few different ideas. Some of them had been shelved, some of them stuck in little folders somewhere. And the story sort of dictated that we had this, spoilers, whatever. We have this big machine at the end that you end up inside, and I had this idea where we could take all these smaller levels, these other levels that were half finished, pull them back out and use them in this last, the last 5 levels. So a lot of what was created and discarded was then, brought back out the recycle bin and used there. And so I think I used most of them. There was probably 2, 3, 4, something like that didn't actually make it into the game. But the majority of them, went into that last 5 levels.
So we've had in recent years, so since the 360 and the PlayStation 3, just this very passionate community of achievement and trophy hunters. So how did you go about deciding what the achievements or trophies were going to be, and what were some of your favorite achievements?
Do you remember this, John?
Yeah. So we wanted from the beginning, we wanted to have a good amount of replay value in the game. So we wanted to be able to go back to earlier levels and do things better now that you've got your upgrades, and also be able to do things you couldn't do before, with extra abilities. So one of our main drives with the achievements was to really structure them to encourage you to do that. So it was, along the lines of the standard stuff, to start with, get you through the levels, through the worlds to get into the game, and then the achievements start to talk about things like getting particular faster times on worlds, and just sort of things that to try and lead you back, in case you hadn't sort of thought about it, or if it wasn't something you felt driven to do. So that was the main focus of most of it, and then through talking to some friends of ours who are similarly like achievement hunters, yeah, we started to come up with the more interesting ones, like, put out 100 fires, stamp on 100 plants, that sort of stuff. The slightly weirder ones that people like to sort of go and find. So we're trying to balance those two, really, mainly to drive you back and see all of the game, but also, just silly ones to have a bit of fun with.
Yeah, naming them was fun as well. Enjoyed that. As many shoe puns as we could think of.
And that's the other thing I loved, all the puns right before you start a level too. Like, there was one of the Super Street Fighter one, but I can't remember.
Super Feet Fighter.
Yeah. That was just great. I just loved seeing all those puns. That was awesome.
Excellent.
Were there any achievements or trophies that you wanted to incorporate, but then after getting feedback or looking through it, you're like, this probably isn't very feasible?
I can't think of any of them off the top of my head. I mean, I think most of the ones we come up with went in there, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there was anything. I don't know if that's, we managed to accomplish everything, or we just had a lack of imagination. But I think we got everything in there that we wanted to, achievement-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you feel like would have been a great achievement we should have added but didn't?
No, I think all the achievements that you had in there, I thought were unique, and I don't think there was anything that I could think off the top of my head that was something that you should have included that you didn't. So I should ask our resident trophy hunter though, Christian, that question. So the guy has like 78 or 80 platinum trophies already, but it's just but that's something that we just think about, like just such a fascinating aspect of creating a game is including those trophies. So, but I couldn't think of anything that I thought that you guys actually did a really good job with the achievement trophies. Another thing that I really liked about the game is what I think they call it the juice, is when you feel something when something happens. And one of the things that I felt is that when you died, it felt solid. It was like that juice in the game. Can you go through the process around how you added that feel to the game, and what was the most challenging aspect of making the player feel the death, and specifically like when you're running and you hit one of the whirling blades?
I think a lot of that's to do with the sound. That particular sound. I know exactly what you're referring to there.
This is the smash to pieces, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a combination of things. So you've got a really punchy sound effect. The screen shake, which is, I think, 50% of all juice in all games ever. A bit of a camera shake. We have the particles that go off, and then something John spent a lot of time on was developing like a vibration or rumble, depending on what platform you're on, system, which works really well. Did a really good job on that.
Yeah, the rumble stuff was, maybe we just missed it, but there didn't seem to be a particularly one that we could find for high-level rumble stuff, like doing really quick rumbles and so on. It was all really low level. Just start rumbling now at this amount, or stop rumbling now at this amount. You couldn't do patterns or vibrations or anything without it being really, in depth. So we sort of played around with that a little bit. And yeah, I think the rumble stuff turned out pretty well. But yeah, I think the sound effect is the main thing there. It's a really kind of noise that comes right at you with the smash as well. I think that's most of it. I think the particles do look cool though. We spent a long time on those as well. Where you fall to pieces. But I'm not sure how much that adds to the juice, but it does look good. We were proud of that.
No, I think it and I think that having the game called Razed, right? Like that whole premise behind it, like that just stuck out to me. Of just that was really powerful. I just thought that was really cool. So yeah, I just thought you guys did a really good job with that.
Oh, thank you.
So one of the other great things about the game is the music. So can you kind of talk about the inspiration that you had for the music in the game? So like, was it did you design the tracks first and then the music, or the other way around?
The way we started was we're both fans of synthwave, that sort of 80s synthy sound. We really quite like that, and we tried dropping a few tracks just what we found on the internet into the game and running around a few levels, and that felt absolutely great. So we knew quite early on that's what we wanted. I think before that we was considering like a big orchestrated type sound, but it just really didn't fit. When we went down the synthwave route, that sort of kind of helped with the visuals as well to a degree. You know, as soon as you think synthwave, you think neon and that kind of thing, and it all sort of you know, came together like that way. And then a few, I don't know, maybe about a year into developing, I'd uploaded a few pictures to Twitter, and we got in contact. A guy contacted us. His name was Aldon, and he loved what he saw. And he was asking if we'd be interested in letting him do the music for it. And we said, yeah, of course. You know, we'll be doing quite soon. You can come and do the music. And then 3 years later, I think that's when it was about time for music. And he'd actually stayed in contact with us the entire time. He was really very professional. And yeah, so we sent the stuff we liked over to him, and he just basically got on with it. He was really good. He'd send us some tracks over. We'd okay them. And it just went down that route. As soon as he had an idea of what we wanted, I think he did the opening theme. He said, "Yeah, that's great. More of that." And he just went off and did, you know, another. I don't know how many tracks he did in the end.
Now, did you send him any like videos or gameplay elements and let him kind of like work around that as well?
Yeah, we sent videos and we sent builds. And he used those, for his inspiration, because he did the sound effects as well. There, he did all that as well.
There's a nice thing with. I mean, he taught us a lot of this stuff. We used Fmod for the sound, and with Fmod, it turns out, and we didn't know this, but you can do a sort of development build where you can send that to your sound guy, and then that his Fmod program, which is where he does all the arrangements and so on, can hook directly into the build in real time, so he can play the game like on one screen and twiddle some buttons on the other one, and it changes the sound as he's playing it, which is an amazing way of getting it done. We didn't even know that was possible until he came along, and yeah, I think that was a big help. Yeah, you can just smash into something, say, I didn't really feel good enough, tweak the sound, smash into it again, and it's got to be handy.
That's awesome. Huh. And I know that you can, I love the music in the game, and you can find that on, oh boy, now can't, on what's one
Spotify?
of those? Spotify, thank you. Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't know, my
on
mind just drew a blank there. You're playing on Spotify,
No
yeah.
No, I think it's actually on multiple platforms.
Oh, it is. Nice.
Yeah. I'm sure I could find a list of them somewhere, but yeah, it's definitely on Spotify. That's the main one.
Nice. So what is next for you guys? What's next for Warpfish Games?
I think next we're probably going to look at probably putting that patch out for Razed. I think there's a few little problems that have come back since that we need to get sorted, and then after that, so we've got a huge board of ideas. I've not actually picked any yet. But yeah, I imagine it'll be something off that board.
I'm absolutely itching to do something in VR, but it's difficult. We may or may not. We'll see. We'll see where the ideas go.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you both for being on the show today. I really appreciated the fact that you took your time out of a Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening, actually, for you guys, and meeting with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It was very nice to read.
Oh, thank you. And listeners, you can get the game. You can find it on the Nintendo Switch. You can find it on PS4. You can find it on Xbox One and PC. So if you are interested in racers and challenging, but I feel fair racer and great music, you got to check this game out. It's great.
Awesome. So yeah, so this month's episode of Buy It or Leave It. Please give us some feedback. We would love to hear what you have to say. If you have any feedback, let us know. We're still relatively new, so any information you could provide to us would be greatly appreciated. So join us next time where we talk about all the great games that are coming out in February.
Yeah, and you can reach us. We don't have a special Twitter for Buy It or Leave It, so you can actually just, at this point, you can use our Gamerheads. You can reach us at Gamerheads on Twitter at GamerHeadsPC. Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You could find me on Twitter at TC Throwers.
Yeah, so I might make a special Twitter just for Buy It or Leave It. So stay tuned for that. And and then you can check out our site. All our episodes, including Controller Throwers and this show and Gamerheads Podcast, at our site, and that's gamerheadpodcast.com. It's the network of video game podcasts that we have. So,
hooray!
All right, thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you, Roger, and we'll see everybody next month.
Bye.
So long.